How's it going, everyone? You guys might be just as surprised as I am that I'm going to do another Legion PvP rant video. And what set me off are the recent numbers, the titles that went out for Season 2, which incidentally are significantly lower from Season 1, which is lower from Warlords of Draenor, which is lower from Mists of Pandaria. I'm not a genius, not really epic with numbers, but I did work on Wall Street for several years, and I did work in a family business that was the elevator business, so I know a thing or two about ups and downs. And I did go to college, so I kind of think all this translates into a downtrend. Now, I linked in the description the forum posts about these titles, which are ever shrinking and going lower in participation numbers. And there's a lot of people in the forums that are putting on their tinfoil hats and trying to speculate as to how many people overall are participating in competitive arena and WoW PvP. And there's a debate whether that overall number from Season 1 to Season 2 is down 30%. There are some people that are saying it's down as much as 80%. There are even some crazies out there that are saying it's down way more than that. I'm not going to get into the debate of who's right, who's wrong, who makes a better case, who's barking the loudest. The reality is it's a downward trend. It's a downward trend that's been going on for a few years now, since MOP. And the one common denominator here is Brian Holinka. Brian Holinka is kind of like Godzilla, and WoW PvP is Japan. Now, when I was a kid and I watched all these old Godzilla movies, I kind of thought, wow, how do the Japanese keep rebuilding Tokyo so quickly? And the same thing with WoW PvP. They keep reinventing it, but it's not getting any better. And when you got the same guy at the helm, Houston, we have a problem. Now, I'm not going to sit here and scream that this guy should be fired. Maybe he has a family. Nobody wants that. But certainly, maybe put him in charge of making coffee or make him a janitor, because he has no fucking clue what he's doing. As long as he's there, this will not improve, people. Blizzard can make mistakes. I can make mistakes. God knows I made a hell of a lot of mistakes in my life. But there's no accountability. That's what really baffles me here. There's just no accountability from Blizzard. They do streams where they interview themselves so they can cherry pick and gerrymander the questions and pick and choose what they want to answer and basically control the whole thing. That's not an interview. It's propaganda. And they try to sell it off like an objective interview. This all kind of reminds me of the Emperor's New Clothes, where the guy's running around with, his junk just hanging out and gut hanging out, and he's completely naked, and people are like saying, wow, that is a really cool looking suit, man. You look really good. You're going to get laid wearing that suit. I mean, that's what it's like. It's the Emperor's New Clothes at Blizzard. And I have ideas, I have thoughts, and I'm not even part of a team. If I have people in a room and people that love the game, people that want to see the game succeed, I'm sure we could come up with something better than Arathi Basin with snow. There's some serious issues with PvP that exist, and the participation numbers are spiraling downwards in a trend over a few years now, and they come up with Arathi Basin with snow? I mean, is it just me, or does anybody else realize how fucking ludicrous that is? Now, I'm not knocking Arathi Blizzard. It's a nice change. It's something, but it's a novelty, and it's not addressing issues. It's not. And neither is Blizzard, and that's what's so frustrating. I can forgive mistakes. I can be wrong about whether or not something is a mistake. But when you don't even acknowledge the lack of balance in the game, the lack of participation in PvP in general. The noobs versus random... I'm sorry, the random noobs versus pre-mades in Battlegrounds. And I'm not talking groups of 3 or 4. I'm talking groups of 8 or 10. When they're pitting up arena teams that are 2K rated versus teams that are 1,300 and 1,400, there's a problem here. There's a big problem with all this. The numbers are down. There's just so many. I mean, I did a whole video, top 10 reasons why Legion PvP sucks. And I'm not going to go into all those reasons. If you're interested, I'll link that in the description as well. But my point is, I can forgive mistakes, but when you don't even have accountability, you don't even acknowledge it, it's really disheartening. Because I know those numbers are down based on the percentage of titles that are going out, because that's based on participation. I know those numbers are down because there's less and less people on Twitch streaming WoW PvP, and less views going towards YouTube people who do WoW PvP. Sure, there are a few that are bucking the trend, but the overwhelming majority is trending downwards. And these are people like myself who put a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of energy and love into what they do, and it's free promotion for Blizzard, and we're not growing, and eventually we're going to decide, hey, this isn't a good idea for me. Because when it comes to me prioritizing things, it's my channel, it's my loyal followers, and then it's World of Warcraft. I'll reinvent myself. Maybe some other aspect of World of Warcraft, maybe some other game, maybe some other genre. But it's not growing, folks. It is just not growing. And there are a lot of other YouTubers that I guarantee you're thinking the same thing right now. There are a lot of other Twitch streamers that are thinking the same thing right now. They're just not voicing their opinion. Or they're just maybe not as upset about it as I am, because I've been dealing with this PvP clusterfuck now for 8 years. And let's face it, yes, I still play the game. You know, maybe my passion might be twisted and demented that I'm still playing, but it's still a passion, and I still play it. But if I consistently see that the numbers are not starting to trend upwards, or even worse, that Blizzard just doesn't acknowledge what's going on. Throughout that entire forum thread, people are asking, please post the numbers, post the participation numbers in PvP. And I guarantee Blizzard's not going to do it. I guarantee it. Guarantee it. And the really sad thing is, they try to coin off these interviews that they do on Twitch where it's Blizzard interviewing Blizzard. Could you imagine if I had a guy like me had Holinka on Skype in an interview for 10 or 15 minutes? I guarantee, guys, I would not lose my cool. I know better. I would not lose my cool. The guy who loses his cool loses the interview, loses the audience. And if anybody knows me really well, one thing I am is fair. And I'll be fair to the guy. But as soon as he starts giving me bullshit answers, I'm going to go at him. And that's the reason, that's the thing you just don't see happening when these interviews occur. Because it's Blizzard interviewing Blizzard. And Holinka even had the audacity to go on that Q&A and say, "Ooh, the PvP numbers in Season 2 were higher than expected." Higher than expected. What did they expect? 0? 1 is higher than 0. Higher than expected. They didn't say higher. And believe me, if those numbers were really high and those numbers were really good, Blizzard would post them. And Blizzard just loves to pat themselves on the back. They would post them. Now, I'm not ranting and bitching at Blizzard when it comes to PvE. That's the Cadillac, that's the gold, that's the premiere of this game. That's where everybody tries to emulate it and pretty much fails. Blizzard is epic when it comes to that. They're good storytellers, they know how to do PvE, and they do it well. And I think what it comes down to, the biggest complaint, the biggest legit complaint of PvEers is just simply that there's not enough content. Is that they want more of something. And when you want more of something, chances are it's pretty good. You know, you're not asking for more liver. You're not asking for more squash. You're not asking for more broccoli. You're not asking for more spinach. But things you like, you're asking for more. And how many people... I mean, people that are playing PvP, I think, are just hanging on to that cherry high from Wrath of the Lich King, BC, Vanilla, maybe even Mob. And they're hanging on, hoping that it gets better. And meanwhile, Blizzard doesn't even acknowledge the issues, doesn't even acknowledge the lack of participation that's going on. And that's what's so sad. You know, I often look at a gaming experience as a relationship. Because let's face it, anything that you invest a significant amount of time in, to some extent, is a relationship. Whether you're an artist, whether it's work, whether it's boyfriend, girlfriend, whether it's your friends. When weeks turn to months and months turn to years and you find yourself still investing that time, it's a relationship. It really is. And like any relationship, people argue and people fight. Because they want things to get better, because they want things to grow, and they want to bring out the best in others. And sometimes, yeah, people need a little bit of a, you know, sharp bolt to the head and to see things right. And sometimes people make mistakes. But my point is, it is a relationship. Just like a baseball player who's been in a league for 12 years has a relationship with the game. I truly believe that. And let me know if you guys feel the same way. And the thing is when you fight in a relationship, you do it because you care. You do it because you want things to be good. You want them to be the way they were, or the way you believe they could be, or the way you believe they should be. That's why you do it. And in any relationship, when you just don't give a damn anymore, and you just don't have any fight anymore, and you just don't want to make excuses anymore, and you just don't want to argue, what do? You start looking for the door. You start wanting to walk away. So guys, I still have some fight because I'm making this video, but one of two things has to start to happen here. One, Holinka gets reassigned to a different division in WoW. Or two, Blizzard has to start acknowledging that they got to do something if they want to fix PvP. And I do believe they want to fix PvP. They didn't hire a VP of esports that includes World of Warcraft because they're bored and they don't know what to do. They didn't go out and buy Major League Gaming because they're bored and they didn't know what to do. They want WoW to go towards an esport. They want it to be an esport. And from a business perspective, this makes a lot of sense because it's free promotion while you lower your cost expenditures and net ad revenue. Any given business would love that. It doesn't take a genius to figure that out. If I was going to set you up in a business and I was going to give you ad revenue and free promotion and I was going to lower your costs and everything that you do, you will succeed regardless of whether you're selling buggy whips or microchips. It doesn't matter. You will succeed. And that's what esports is. When people stream WoW on Twitch or make YouTube videos about WoW, whether it's about how to obtain flying or a PvP video, it's free promotion for the game. And any given gaming company loves that. There are gaming companies that are lining up to pay YouTubers to simply make videos on their game because they want the exposure. I'm not one of those guys because I play what I love and I play World of Warcraft because I love the game. But the people over at WoW, I don't know what's going on. I really don't. It's either that they're incredibly incompetent when it comes to PvP, or Brian Holinka's actual job description is to fuck up WoW PvP as much as possible so they don't need to be bothered with it anymore. Those are the only two logical answers I could think of. It's a goddamn joke. It really is. You know, here's some facts for you, okay? Blizzard knows less about PvP in their own game than a retarded monkey knows about calculus. And what is really genuinely pathetic is the fact that Blizzard has been tweaking and changing WoW PvP for 12 years. And overall, not really a lot of positive results over the last 2 or 3 X-Packs. Now, yes, I admit here I might be being a little too harsh or a little bit salty. Although my voice is just a bit subdued, so you don't see me ranting completely here. I'm a bit tempered. But let me put things a different way. Let's say you put a loaded gun to my head and you gave me a life or death ultimatum. Now I have to choose a positive outcome from one of 2 scenarios. And if I'm right, I get a smiley chocolate chip cookie and a glass of cold milk. I don't have big risk-reward parameters here. Simple things amuse me. So I get cold milk, chocolate chip cookie. And if I'm wrong, my brains get splattered into modern art all over the wall. Now tell me which of these 2 scenarios possesses a better chance of a positive outcome. Okay, here's the first one. Blizzard actually fixes WoW PvP and restores a steady growth rate and takes a few major steps towards becoming a legit esport. Or 2, a drunk 8-year-old safely lands a 747 with the aid from the control tower. Now, you guys might think I'm joking, or you might think I'm speaking in hyperbole or exaggerating, but the reality is my money's on the 8-year-old landing the plane, the drunk 8-year-old. Because the devs, particularly Holenka and other people associated with PvP, are just lost. They really are lost. They are just so out there and so lost. It's really unprecedented as far as the ridiculousness of it. That's how lost they are. And maybe they're, people will often argue WoW doesn't listen to the community, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, they do listen to the community. Unfortunately, they listen to the guy who's yelling the loudest, the guy who's screaming, the guy who can rally other people to splash the forums and promote whatever it is they want, whether it's their agenda or they just genuinely feel something's wrong with the game. It's the squeaky wheel gets the oil. Whoever's screaming the loudest. And that's a big reason why the community is so bitchy and fucking whiny little bastards. Because they realize if they cry and they bitch and they moan, they're going to get what they want. Any big YouTuber who does PvP videos and sticks to a particular class, if he cries enough, he can rally his people to hit the forums and create arguments and promote that particular spec, promote that particular class, right? And what happens? Blizzard listens because they're loud and they make a noise and they have a huge number, so they listen. And this is why you get a bunch of bitchy whiners in the community. Because people know that that's what Blizzard listens to, what they need to listen to. Blizzard really needs to listen to the people that want what's good for everyone. And I often, in other words, I'm saying listen to me because I want what's good for the game. And I realize Blizzard's not going to do what's good for the game unless it's profitable. And I realize people are not going to continuously play the game unless it's fun. I'm looking for something that benefits the game, Blizzard, and the players all in one. That's what you call a deal. And I look at things as objectively as possible. I'm willing to say where I'm wrong. And I just don't see Blizzard working towards this. I really don't. Yeah, the game will be sustained and continue to go on with rating, but so much potential is being lost. Potential for money for Blizzard, potential for fun for the players, and it just really hurts. It really, really hurts. And I'm going to leave you guys with this thought. Like I said, you might think I'm exaggerating or speaking in hyperbole, but I'm really not here. I'm going with that drunk 8-year-old to succeed, not Blizzard. And, come on, let's be real here. Over time, over the last 12 years or so, can you name one time Blizzard got WoW PvP right? And let me be very specific about what I mean by right. Name a time when WoW PvP was fun, where it was reasonably balanced. Not 100% balanced, but reasonably balanced, and based on skill, not gear or even artifact power. Now, in fairness, because people can call me a lot of things. They could call me a salty son of a bitch. They could call me a noob. They could call me a jerk off or whatever. But one thing they can't say is that I'm not fair. You can't say that. And if you spin the clock back to MOP or even WOD PvP, it came pretty close. Especially at the end of those X packs, it came pretty close to fitting that description. Those are my thoughts. What are your thoughts? Not in the beginning of WOD or the beginning of MOP, but towards the end of the X pack. I think Blizzard got it reasonably balanced. They got it reasonably fair. But no matter what your favorite version of PvP is, whether it goes back to vanilla or it goes back to BC or Kata or whatever, you can't name a time where it wasn't based on gear or it wasn't based on building and creating and growing your power, whether it's through gear progression or it's artifact power progression. It's always been based on that. And that's going to reward the people that grind it out, and it's not going to reward skill. And, you know, the idea that Legion PvP is normalized gear, and gear doesn't really matter anymore, and it's fair and balanced is absolute utter fucking garbage. There's just no other way to put it. And I think WoW deserves better. I think the fans deserve better. I think PvP is a golden asset. And it's almost like they're driving down a highway and they're just taking their money and they're throwing it out the window. And if Blizzard could only see themselves doing that, they would have a heart attack, because we all know how much they love money. Guys, I mean, I just don't have the influence. I can probably put together some very reasonable, intelligent arguments as to why this isn't working or why that's working, and then go to work, acknowledge it, be accountable for that mistake, and go to work and fix it. I could do that. I just don't have the influence. What, 5,000 views, 10,000 views? It's just not getting to where it needs to go. And that's nobody's fault. That's just the way the cards fall. But at least in my heart of hearts, I know I made this video. I know I made it a point to say that this has got to stop, because yet another guy like me is going to move on. Because, like I said, we all make mistakes. Mistakes can be forgiven. But when you don't even acknowledge the reality of the hand you're dealt, it's hard to kind of promote that. It's hard to go out there and promote it and try to grow your channel. So this is Luxley saying, guys, whatever it is by you, whether it's morning, afternoon, or night, you know, go out there and just make it great, make it awesome. Luxley out.